Oh, hello there. Just come here really quick and I'm gonna get into the video today. Hello. Hello everyone, Jay from the Golden Testificate here, and today I'm going to be doing a full-on mod showcase of just one singular mod. I'm not doing multiple today, but this one's going over the full progression of the Twilight Forest, so buckle your seatbelts and grab yourself some snacks because we're about to go. Before we start the video today, I'd like to thank you all for almost hitting 500 subscribers. Now, once we do hit 500, I'm going to open the Discord server. So if we hit it before the next video, check the description. It's going to be there. And let's get right into the video. Oh, for those who don't know, the Twilight Forest is a magic mod that has been around for quite a while. It's one of my personal favorite mods. And that's why I'm going to go over the bare minimum you need for progression. Because this mod has a ton of little stuff you can do, but it's really fun. So the first thing you need to do is make this portal. Now to make this portal, you're gonna need a 2x2 of podzol, any type of dirt or grass, and you're gonna want to make sure that all of these are source blocks, and it has to be vanilla water. I think I'm pretty sure it's vanilla water. I've never tried it with other waters. And then you don't have to do the flowers this exact way, but you do need to make sure you have mushrooms, ferns, flowers. It doesn't really matter which types. Most modded flowers even work, but you just have to fully circle the portal. And then to activate the portal, you throw in a diamond and boom, you get the portal. Now I already set up everything for Twilight over here, so I'll meet you guys in the Twilight biome. Twilight Forest adds a lot in this new dimension. Now, one thing I'd like to point out is it is completely progression based, so you have to follow it in an order or there will be force fields that block you from going forward. So here's what I would recommend starting out with, is making yourself a magic map focus to be able to make the blank magic map. Now you can make the magic map focus by using a raven feather, some torch berries, and glowstone dust. Glowstone you find in the nether or by killing witches. Torch berries you can find in caves in the Twilight dimension, and the raven feathers you just kill a raven that fly around the Twilight dimension, and then you craft them in this way. Magic map focus surrounded in paper, and then you get the map. Now I've already loaded a map here, and you can already see all the monuments that we're going to be going to, and I'll point them out as we go along. So starting out with, we have our tier 1, which is the forest bosses. Now, I'm not going to be fighting any of the bosses because most of them are straightforward. The only one that might require explaining is the Lich and the Hydra. But starting off with the Naga, if you look at your map, the Naga is this little snake-looking thing on the map. Normally, there's lots of Naga, so I would use them if you need trophies for stuff. So going to the Naga's place, this is what it looks like. It's a stone maze that's just randomly spawns throughout the place. And when you kill the Naga, it drops Naga scale, a trophy, and you can use the trophy to make a banner pattern. And now, when you craft the Naga scale into chestplate and leggings, it can't be made into boots or a helmet. I don't really know why they chose that, but they did. But it comes pre-enchanted, and it's good starting armor for the Twilight mod. So let's go move on to the next section. The next boss on the list is the Twilight Lich. Now, this boss spawns in these towers very frequently, and they also show up as the weird skeleton with the crown on the map. These towers, trust me, they're not hard to find. You'll find them everywhere. And you want to find your way up to the top center of the tower. That's normally where they're at. And you'll find a room that looks like this. Now, once you're in this room, there's going to be a Lich that spawns. There's 3 phases to the fight. The first phase, he makes shadow clones that go around and attack you. You figure out which one's the real one, reflect the fireballs back into him, and you'll deal damage to him. Once you break 3 shields, he'll move on to phase 2, where you're able to just hit him with a sword. And then phase 3, he starts summoning zombies, and then when he runs out of zombies, he'll start hitting you with his own golden sword. Now, once you beat him, he'll drop one of the 4 scepters, and his trophy and banner. All the stuff does trophy and banner. But he'll drop one of the 4 scepters. The scepter of the zombie scepter, it summons zombie hordes. I don't really know too much about the other ones because I never used them, but mess around with those, see which one you like the most, and there is an advancement for getting all 4 of them. So let's move on to the next session. You have finished all the tier 1 stuff here. These ones will no longer have a force field, which is all in the swamp. Now to start off, you're going to want to go to the outskirts of the swamp. This right here is a swamp with the Hydra in the middle, and there's 4 dungeons on the outside of it. You're going to want to go to one of those first because you want to go to the Minoshroom, because there's a specific item you need to not die directly while entering the Hydra biome. So you want to find a structure that's, I call it a well. It's not really a well, but you find that these are kind of easy to find because they normally spawn in these dirt hills. And when you're in here, there's going to be like normal Minotaur type stuff, and they can drop maze map focuses. Now these are extremely nice because first off, you can make a maze map to help you navigate the maze, which I've already done, so there's no need to worry about me doing that. But then this, the uncrafting table. This is probably the best modded item I have ever seen made. So what this does is when you use it, it uses EXP, but you can put stuff like buckets or anything craftable in here, and you can just take out the materials using EXP. I'm pretty sure it's 1 level per item depending on how rare the item is, but super nice crafting table. And let's go to the Minoshroom's Lair. The Minoshroom's Lair is on the very bottom floor, and here's the loaded maze map. I drop down right here, and you just kind of wander your way around until you find this room with the 4 mushrooms in the corner, and all these will be blocked off and he'll be spawned in the middle. So once you start fighting him, and if you win, he'll drop his diamond axe, which is a very good weapon. I like it. Then there's the wafers you can find all over the place, but the only reason you come here is for this Meef Stroganoff, because this gives you fire resistance. So now you don't burn while you are inside of the Hydra. Now, I'm not going to go over stuff like steel leaf and ironwood because it's stuff you can find in chest here. And I will recommend the fireflies because you can put them on your head. But if they get punched, they turn into glowstone, and it's very sad. So if you get attached easily, I wouldn't recommend putting them on your head. And then one last thing about these mazes is when you're loading your map, look for this big gray square. Now this gray square is, I dug it out already, but you want to be careful because as you can see, there's TNT. Normally there's pressure plates under this sand, so if you don't dig up a block first, you'll end up breaking the sand onto the pressure plates and blowing everything up. Now the main reason you want to come here is for a specific pickaxe called the Mazebreaker. Now the Mazebreaker is really good because even with an efficiency 5 diamond pickaxe, this stuff takes forever to break. And with the Mazebreaker, it breaks really fast, and that's why it's called the Mazebreaker. So that's pretty much all of it for the Minotaur. So let's move on to the Hydra. Once again, going to point out on the map, this is the Hydra, this weird dragon thing in the middle of the red splotch on the map. The red splotch is a fire swamp, and if you don't eat the Stroganoff, you will be set on fire immediately into entering this biome. And you can't, even if fire resistance, you'll be able to live, but it'll be really annoying, and there's still a force field around the Hydra. Now the Hydra is the only other boss I think really needs explaining on how to fight, and that's because it's a Hydra. So when its mouth is open and shooting fire charges, you hit the fire charges back into an open mouth. If you do any other damage to it, that will heal, and if you keep damaging it without shooting its fireballs directly into one of its open mouths, it'll just take this fight forever. And just putting that out of the way, so if you guys want to know how to fight it, that's how you fight it. So when you kill it, it drops fiery blood, and that's pretty much the only like big drop it does besides its trophy. And so to make the fiery ingots, you put some fiery blood next to some iron. You can make a block, you can make pickaxes and swords. You can also make all the armor like normal armor, and that's why I decided to show these recipes so you can see the alternative ways to crafting the armor. It takes the same amount of fiery blood So you pick and choose which way you want to do it. Now that you have finished tier 2, you're going to want to move to tier 3. Now for tier 3, you're going to want to find this weird dark green, because that would be a dark forest. And you want to go to this night first, because you won't be able to go here anytime soon. So you want to go to what is called the Twilight Night Stronghold. Now this stronghold looks like this on the surface, and it's pretty, they're kind of hard to find because they kind of blend in well. But so this is why I said earlier you're going to want multiple trophies, because you need a trophy to even enter this place. So to enter this labyrinth, you want to place a trophy on the pedestal and it will open. So now that it's open, I already made a way down directly to the room. You want to enter this room. Now to find this room, when you're wandering around, you're going to want to find iron bars with obsidian. It has to have the obsidian ring, or it won't lead you to the correct room. So this place adds a lot of crafting recipes. This was fun to look up. So you can make a night metal sword, pickaxe, and axe, same way as you would iron or diamond tools. Same goes for the, well, not this. The shields are a little different. So to make the shield, you're going to want to make a night metal loop, which is just 4 ingots in the center of top and bottom and left and right. And then you're going to want to put that in the middle, and then 2 tower wood, which you get from the towers that are right outside of the mazes. And then 3 night metal ingots, and you get a shield. Now, you can also make a full set of night metal armor, which this is some of the weaker armor, but that's because it's like the only full set besides fiery, ironwood, and the leaf one. I can't remember its name at the moment. But you're gonna have to fight like a weird ghost army when you're down here. It is kind of a difficult fight, but it's pretty straightforward. There's no special strategies. You just kind of brute your way through. And then inside of all of these is loot. So if you want to get extra loot, go ahead and loot up. Just don't forget your way back up. So let's move on to the next part. After you're done beating the stronghold, you're going to want to find one of these towers. They're located in the center of the dark forest. And starting from the bottom, we have the doors. This is what all the doors look like. And that's how you make your way up the tower. You're going to have to fight mini ghasts. There's traps everywhere. It's pretty chaotic going all the way up. But once you're up, this is what it looks like. And the UR-Ghast will spawn. Now the UR-Ghast looks like this, in case you guys have never seen it before. It's a really tough fight. It's recommended steel leaf, Naga armor, and diamond armor for this fight. Also, it's recommended to have a powerful bow so you can shoot out the ghast in the air. Now, the ghast will occasionally cry, and when it cries, it'll summon little baby ghasts outside of these ghost traps. So be careful of that also. Now, once the ghast hits not 5 health, it hits halfway, it's going to throw into tantrum mode. The fight's going to become really weird. Just keep going on. Be careful to not step on stuff while it's on fire. Be wary of edges, because the blast will knock you off the edges. That's pretty much all this really does. So let's move on to the next section. Now that you're done with tier 3, which is super hot fire explosions, you're going to be going to the snow forest and glacier, which is tier 4. Now, if you look at the map, it's pretty obvious to tell where this is. Now, before you enter these little Yeti dens, you're going to want to find Arctic wolves along the outsides and then kill them for their fur. Now, once you have their fur, you can make Arctic hoods, and this just helps you not freeze to death, because they have a new effect that lets your character freeze when you go to the glacier. So it's just normal armor recipes, and you get them from winter wolves. Now, when you're in these places, things called the Alpha Yetis will spawn in the middle. These things are fairly tough to fight. They're not a main boss, so I wouldn't focus too hard on them. But you do need a full set of Yeti armor, which means you have to go to all 4 of these places along the outsides. And once you have all 4, you're going to want the Yeti armor. I'm going to need it for this review also, because if you don't have this armor, you will freeze into an ice cube, literally. So now that we're ready for the glacier, let's move on. The next boss you're going to be fighting is in the Aurora Palace, which is in the center of the ice. And it's this really pretty Aurora structure. Now, this is the Snow Queen, so it's kind of like Elsa from Frozen. So you probably can tell where this is going to be going. She has ice shields and ice attacks, so hit her when she has her shield down. That's pretty much all you have to really know for this fight. So once you're up, this is what the room looks like. It's a really small room in such a big tower. It's kind of hard to find, but it's normally towards the top. Now, when you kill her, she could either drop the Seeker Bow or the Tri-Bow. Now, they're good bows. I really wish you get them before the UR-Ghast, but progression don't let you. Now, you can find the Ender Bow and the Ice Bow randomly inside the palace, and that's pretty much all this palace adds. So let's move on to the next tier. Now, I'm not going to do any cuts for this tier 5 final because there is a lot back and forth. So to start with the tier 5, you're going to want to go on your map and you want to find this weird square. This weird square is supposed to be a castle, and so you want to be inside of these troll caves on the side. Now, the troll caves have trolls that spawn, tons of good ore in the walls, very nice place to be, but you're going to want to find these small obsidian squares. And these small obsidian squares will have the Ubrious dirt or Uberous dirt. You're going to want some of that and some magic beans. And then once you get your magic beans and your soil, you have to leave the troll cave and you have to go right outside the troll cave on the surface and find these cloud cottages. And I've already got some beans ready, but I'm going to throw up another bean just over here so you guys can see what it looks like because it's really fun to watch. So I'm going to throw the beans right here. And then it will just slowly build that all the way up. And this just makes it easier to get to the top. You don't need these to get to the top. I have done it many times without having to do it. But once you make it to the top, you will be greeted with this place. It just looks like big Minecraft, and that's because it is. You're gonna need to mine the tree and the cobblestone, and it'll give you giant logs and giant cobblestone. And you're gonna want to make a giant's pickaxe. The swords you don't need too much, but you do need this behemoth. Now, what you use this pickaxe on is when you come back, you want to go back to the troll cave, and I already found some, but there's this huge obsidian that spawns, and you need this pickaxe to mine it. Now, I don't really remember how long this takes, so I guess let's just let this break. And now that you've made it in, you're going to want to get to these chests. Now, these chests will have this lamp of cinders, which is you have to have it for the next part. So now the next part that you have to do once you have that cinder lamp is go to the, once you start going to the middle, right around the outside of the gray, there's this place called the Thornlands. Now these thorns, if you try and break them, it takes forever, but they just keep growing when you punch them. So there's no way to break these without the lamp of cinders. Now that you have the lamp, you can right click and you're able to break them. And you have to do this all the way to the top of the plateau. And then once you use your cinder lamp all the way up, you'll reach here. And this is the final castle for the mod. Now, there is like this boss room up at the top, and it does say that it's still a work in progress. There is a dude you can fight somewhere. I wasn't able to find him, but it's not what it's supposed to be because it is still a work in progress. And that pretty much is all there is for the main storyline progression of the Twilight Forest for now. Hopefully this gets updated eventually. And now I'm going to show you one side quest that you probably should do. The final part of this mod that I'm going to be showing off is the questing ram. The questing ram is this weird thing that kind of looks like half leggings, half helmet. I think it's supposed to be ram horns, so take that however you will. It's just this weird area. Now once you find it, you'll know where it is because all of the trees and grass are rainbow. And that gives you a pretty good hint on what you want to do. So the questing ram, all you have to do is give him one of every single color. Now I would recommend finding this and doing it first, because doing this first will give you some loot, which I'll show you here in a second. Also, it does spawn with some of the wool you'll need, but I just got myself all of it because here, have some wool. And he slowly gets longer. And what he gives you is a bundle full of stuff. Like one of each block, except for redstone, I guess. The wiki hasn't been updated too much, so I didn't realize that they actually gave you bundles in the new update. But yeah, that's how you get the crumble horn, which I think just lets you blow the horn. Oh yeah, it breaks blocks around it. I remember this now. But yeah, so it adds the crumble horn, the trophy, which is just the dude's head, and you've just made a pretty ram, and that's pretty much all there is for the progression of the Twilight Forest. Thank you everyone for watching the video. I really hope that this video helps you kind of get through the Twilight Forest mod. I really like this mod, and I kind of want to start doing this type of video more, where I do just single mod and go a little more in depth into it. So if you like the video, make sure you like and subscribe so I know that more of you guys are watching. And once we hit 500, I'm going to be putting the Discord down below. So if you want to join that, check to see if we hit 500. And if we didn't, well, once we do, it will be there. So thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.